Well, President Obama has been discussing how best to end the conflict in Syria with the Turkish Prime Minister at the White House. At a joint news conference, he made it clear the US will not make a unilateral move to intervene.
The use of chemical weapons are something that the civilized world has recognized should be out of bounds. And, as we gather more evidence and work together, my intention is to make sure that we're presenting everything that we know to the international community as an additional reason, an additional mechanism for the international community to put all the pressure that they can on the Assad regime.
President Obama, of course, at the White House. Let's get more on this now from Seref Isler from the BBC Turkish service here with me in the studio. Seref, just help us with the politics here. What was going on today? What are the two men's main concerns?
Well, the two of them are between a rock and a hard place at this stage, because domestically they are facing problems and internationally they are not getting the full support that they would like to have when it comes to Syria. So I think although they have now, the BBC's aired claims about a chemical weapon use, and Turkey has found evidence of chemical weapons, although the two sides are now relatively confident that that chemical weapons from whatever side are being used in Syria, they can't take concrete action. And I think that is the problem that was plaguing the minds of both leaders today.
When Turkey, of course, has suffered directly in this conflict across the border, the Turkish Prime Minister, Mr. Erdogan, has been pretty outspoken in the past. Let's just hear something of what he had to say at the White House today.
Our goal is to see the tyranny and the dictatorship go away in Syria and be replaced with democracy. And I think there is a collective responsibility on the part of all countries that believe in democracy. And this is what we will all continue to do.
Now, Seref, I think most people observing that press conference today felt he was rowing back from the kind of things he said in the past. Why exactly? I mean, he's under pressure from the Turkish people, isn't he?
Yes, absolutely. He's under tremendous pressure from the Turkish people. And the attack that happened, the two twin bombings at Reyhanlı on the border with Syria, has put pressure on Erdogan. He probably was not counting on that happening. He didn't expect that to happen. I'm relatively confident that he thought that the people would be blaming Syria. And that hasn't really materialized. Instead, the people have been blaming the government's Syria policy. So Mr. Erdogan himself for what happened in Reyhanlı. And that was probably not expected to happen.
So the pressure is that people are obviously unhappy with what's happening across the border in Syria. They're unhappy that Turkey is suffering, but they do not want Turkey to intervene. So where next?
Well, this is actually, that's the question really, because when Turkey amended the rules of engagement when Syria shot down a jet fighter a long time ago now, people were already very apprehensive and reluctant to allow the government a motion to launch cross-border operations. So the Turkish people have not wanted Turkey to intervene in Syria for a very, very long time. What is going to happen next is that the Turkish people want Syria to be left alone and Turkey to not get involved. It's really, the Turkish people's claim is really that simple.
Do you get the sense that Mr. Erdogan is unsure of his allies in this, and how does that play? How does that affect things?
He is probably unsure of his allies because he has had a very strong rhetoric in the past, as you said, and he probably counted on international support by now to have either intervened or taken more of a stance. However, international community has been going through conference to conference and talk to talk, and there isn't any solid action being taken on Syria. So Mr. Erdogan, he probably did want the international community to have stepped in by now, but when that didn't happen, his rhetoric just went to waste.
And it was clear President Obama is not doing it any time imminently, at least. President and Prime Minister, we know, are having dinner tonight. There may be some more news lines coming out of that, but we're not seeing them yet. Seref Isler, thank you very much.